welcome back to another board game tier list, everybody. This one is for the Marvel Zombies Hero Mode villains or zombies that are going to pop up. You have to fight sometimes throughout the battles. So S is going to be the hardest to fight. F is the easiest. So first we got Wolverine. So normally the hit points will be between 3 and 5. So this is right in the middle of that. Each time an extra activation or special action card is drawn, he performs 2 actions before resolving the card. This one is just solid. This would definitely be A tier. Iron Man, 4 hit points, can attack from 1 zone away. If his zone is attacked but he is not eliminated, move him 1 zone away. I think for the sake of... how do we want to do this? We'll put him in B tier, I guess. Yeah, we'll put him in B tier. Rocket. Brutes starting their activation within range 1 of him get +1 action. Yeah, that just doesn't feel like it matters much. I think we're going to put that in C tier. Black Widow spawns in the zone with the last superhero that activated, then rolls a die on a 3+. They suffer 1 wound unless they spend 2 power. This one's definitely going to be A tier as well. It's an effect that happens quickly and can hurt you immediately. Super Skrull, 4 or 5 hit points, gains following based on the highest danger level, cumulative. No effect at blue, yellow, 2 moves 2 zones per activation. Orange has 5 toughness, red gets 3 actions per activation. I think we'll put this one in A tier as well. Vulture, 3 hit points. When he activates, all superheroes within range 1 lose 1 power. If this affects more than 1 superhero, he gets +1 action. This can matter, but in general, he only has 3 hit points, so I don't feel like it's going to hurt you that much. Doc Ock can attack from 1 zone away. Superheroes within range 1 must spend 1 extra action to move. This has actually gotten us in trouble before. Having to spend more to move has actually been difficult. But in general, this isn't the most powerful. Anyone with 3 hit points, anyone can kill, essentially. If someone has 4 hit points, you sometimes need to get a little bit lucky, or you need to not get unlucky to kill them. And anyone with 5 hit points gets pretty scary pretty quick. Namor with 3 hit points. Last in target priority gains +1 toughness for each other enemy within range 1 to a max of 6. So he can be pretty high. Yeah, he's a weird character. I do think we're going to put him in C, though. He's just not the most scary. Iceman, 3 hit points. Superheroes attacks suffer -1 to dice results while within range 1 of him. Yep, I think that matters and that's important. I think we'll put him in B tier. Human Torch, 3 hit points. If his zone is attacked at range 0 and he is not eliminated, the attacker suffers a number of wounds equal to the highest current danger level. So that can be very significant, but hopefully you'll just attack him with someone that's good. But considering the fact that this could just lose you the game, I think we got to leave this in B. He's pretty easy to kill, so it shouldn't come up. But if it does, he's going to lose you. So there we go. Ms. Marvel, when she activates, if there are bystanders in line of sight, she moves to the closest or moves the closest one into her zone. That's a pretty cool effect. I don't feel like it really matters, or at least it hasn't mattered from all of our games. I feel like this one's probably the least effective so far, so this one's going to go to F tier. Thor, 5 hit points. When he is eliminated, roll a die. On a 4+, all superheroes within range 1 suffer 1 wound. Yeah. So he's massively difficult to kill. Once you kill him, you even theoretically take damage. He's going to be our first S tier character. It's funny that as a villain, Thor's S tier, but I think as a hero, he was maybe C or B. Can't remember. Professor X, 3 hit points. Superheroes within range 2 must spend 1 additional power whenever they want to use one of their unlocked skills. That certainly matters. But I don't think it matters enough. I think he's going to be stuck in C tier. Giant Man, 5 hit points, can attack from 1 zone away before performing each action. If there is a superhero adjacent to him behind a wall, closed door, or window, place an open door or open window connecting both zones. So he's the only character that can open up paths that don't really exist. Also, his figure is massive. He's just awesome. So cool. S tier. And again, I own everything for this game other than the one Galactus expansion. So, or I guess I have the figure, but not the pack. So this includes everybody except Silver Surfer, the zombie version. Colossus, 4 hit points. A successful attack only eliminates him if another superhero in his zone spends 2 power. That is really, really good. He's very hard to kill. That's going to be A tier. My understanding of that has essentially been that there needs to be 2 people in that zone, so that if you kill him, you can't be the one who spends the 2 power. So yeah, he's very difficult to kill. There's... part of me even wonders if he should be an S tier. But he doesn't do that much to you unless you just can't kill him. So I think we'll put him in A. Gambit, 3 hit points. Can attack from 2 zones away. Any superhero with in the attack zone are moved into adjacent zone with the most enemies. 2 zones away is pretty far to be able to attack. It's kind of hard to counter. So I think we're going to put that one in B tier. Storm, 3 hit points. At the start of her activation, all superheroes are moved 1 zone towards the zone with an enemy closest to them. So I have wondered with Storm if this only affects people in line of sight or if it just affects everybody. If this affects just line of sight, it's not nearly as good, but it's still good. If it affects everyone, it's insanely good. So I guess for now, I've been playing that she has to have line of sight in order for it to affect people. But maybe that's not right. But we'll put her in A tier based on the way that I play. Dr. Doom, 5 hit points. When he spawned, draw 1 additional spawn card for his zone. All enemies, or any enemies spawned, immediately perform 1 action. He's going to be another one that is S tier. It's so hard to kill anybody with 5 hit points. And he spawns another card and then they activate, so it's not even like it's going to be easy to kill Dr. Doom as soon as he spawns. So, Rhino, 4 hit points. Whenever he enters a zone with a superhero, roll a die on a 4+. All superheroes in that zone suffer 1 wound. One of the biggest things that is relevant for to zoom out a little bit, one of the things that's relevant for all of these characters is they need to either be really hard to kill or really good at doing damage. This one is decently hard to kill, and there's a chance that it can do a lot of damage. But it would need to get into the superhero zones, which is somewhat unlikely, especially if they can plan around it. So because of that, we're just putting it in B. Whereas Wolverine, you don't know what's going to happen with him. There's a chance that Wolverine's just going to end up in your zone and you're screwed. Nightcrawler, 3 hit points. He spawns in the zone with the superhero with the least power. When that superhero activates, place them and Nightcrawler on the nearest spawn zone, which is horrible. So there's ways to get around this, in my opinion, because theoretically, if you are all grouped up, let's say there was 4 of you, and Black Widow had the least, you could make Professor X go first and kill Nightcrawler so that Black Widow doesn't get moved when she activates, because Nightcrawler's no longer in the game. But it's a really cool ability. I think we're just going to put him in B for now. Captain America. Walkers within range 1 of him gain +1 action when they activate. So there's tons of walkers, so that is relevant. He only has 3 hit points. I think we'll put him in B for now. Iron Man, 4 hit points. I think this is our second one. If he ends his activation at range 1 or 2 of line of sight to a zone with any superheroes, he attacks that zone. This one's going to be A tier because that is just really, really easy for him to be able to attack. Mantis, 3 hit points. While within range 2, superheroes can't use any skills that require spending power. That's decent. I think it's only going to go in C, though. Sabretooth, if his zone is attacked by a superhero in his zone, but Sabretooth's not eliminated, they take 1 wound. 4 hit points. I think this is kind of the same logic as Rhino. Can be helpful, not necessarily helpful. Kingpin, 3 hit points. He's last target priority. When he spawns, spawn 2 brutes in his zone. Brutes within range 1 of him have +1 toughness. So if he ever gets into a group with a lot of brutes, he's just ridiculous. And so because of that, I think we got to leave him in B tier. He only has 3 hit points, but he can be nasty. Another Captain America. When his zone is attacked, roll a die. For each successful hit on a 5+, cancel that hit. Makes sense. Okay. Yeah, this one can be rough. I don't know. I don't know that I can put him in A or in B tier. I think we'll just put him in B tier. I don't think I can get him to S. 4 hit points. She-Hulk. If there are bystanders within range 2 when she activates, she gets +1 action and has +1 toughness to the end of the next player phase. Theoretically, being able to have 5 hit points is good, but I don't feel like She-Hulk's ability is that solid. I think we're going to leave her in B tier. Hope I leave enough room here. Alright, see what we got next. Lizard, when he deals a wound to a superhero, roll a die on a 5+. That hero suffers 2 wounds instead, and he has 4 hit points. I think he's gonna be in the same group that he only goes in B tier. Doctor Strange, when he would activate, if not in a zone with a superhero, place him and all enemies in his zone in the farthest zone with a superhero. Strange and these enemies don't activate this phase. I think this one is so cool. I think it can essentially expose a character that's kind of been doing their own thing. Yeah, he's probably just going to die. Man, I'm struggling here. Even though this seems really good, I think I have to put it in B tier because they can't activate again. If they could activate, this would be S tier and it would just be the hardest thing in the entire game. But in general, a superhero will spawn on their own. There won't be anybody in their zone, so it'll just be him moving there, and then he should be pretty easy to kill. So, putting him in B tier. Green Goblin, 3 hit points. Each time a rush or extra activation card is drawn, all superheroes within range 1 suffer 1 wound. This is a really cool one that's really weird. Because unlike activating gun like Wolverine, he just straight does more damage to a bunch of people. I think we'll just put him in B, though. I can't see him getting up to A just for that, because he has 3 hit points, but I guess if you are really... One of the tricks in this game is essentially don't be super close to spawn zones all the time, but I guess if you don't follow that, and he spawned right next to you, that'd be very unfortunate, and then if more cards get flipped, you could all take a bunch of damage. That seems pretty situational, so... Hulk, 6 hit points or 2 hit points. While in his zone, you may discard your bystander card. If you do, Hulk reverts to banner and has toughness of 2 until the end of the turn. And 6 hit points is just ridiculously high. But he's actually not hard to kill if you discard your bystander card. Another rule that I don't totally understand is if you discard your bystander card, does that count as them getting devoured? Which I would think that it would, which would trigger other stuff, which isn't good. So going with that logic, I think we would put him in S tier. But if it doesn't do that, I think he falls to B tier or A tier. Captain Marvel, when she spawns, if there are any bystanders on the board, place her in the closest zone with a bystander. That's a cool effect, but I don't feel like it does enough, so she's going in B. Electro, 3 hit points, can attack from one zone away, dealing 1 wound to each superhero in that zone. Any superheroes wounded by him loses 1 power. Or lose 1 power, however you want to say it. Yeah, definitely a solid character as well. I think he's going to be another B tier character. Scarlet Witch. When spawning enemies, consider the highest danger level 1 higher than it is. This is probably the only character that is S tier and only has 3 hit points. That's crazy. Though when she came out, the last game we played, we were already at the red tier level. But if you are blue and she comes out and now you are suddenly getting yellow amounts, it's so horrible. So much more difficult. Nebula, 4 or 5 hit points. If her zone is attacked but she's not eliminated, she has toughness 5 until the end of the round. That is a good ability, but I don't think it's good enough to get her out of B. She goes to B. Magneto, at the end of his activation, all superheroes in line of sight are moved 1 zone towards him and suffer 1 wound. So like on this one, it clarifies line of sight. This one doesn't clarify line of sight. Just one of the things about a Kickstarter game is sometimes some of that stuff isn't exactly clear. Yeah, but that's solid though. That certainly has to be A at the minimum. Cyclops can attack from range 2. His attacks deal 1 wound to all superheroes in the targeted zone. I feel like we had somebody else who had range 2. Where did we? Yeah, I think Cyclops actually has to go to A tier. It's somewhat similar to Iron Man, but the thing that makes him stronger is he could deal damage to everybody. So I think that makes sense. Gamora, 3 hit points. Her attacks deal 1 wound to each superhero in her zone, and they each lose 1 power. I think this one is just going to be B tier. It's very solid. Not quite good enough. Drax, 4 hit points. Each time a superhero within range 2 performs a power-up action, Drax performs 1 action. I actually think that Drax is probably one of the higher B tier characters. You can abuse it essentially and get 1 away from him. Instead of moving again, you can just use a power-up action to get him to go into your zone, which is the great way to do it. But if he's already in your zone, you might need to power up to kill him, which means someone's going to have to take some damage. He's a good character. Doctor Strange, when he activates, if he is not in a zone with superhero, as his first action, he moves into the closest zone with superhero. So similar to the other Doctor Strange. But I think that this one is going to go in A tier, actually, because if he spawns and then he lives to the next round, he is guaranteed to do 1 damage to a character. Because his first action is to move to somebody, and then he's going to attack them for his second. So, Kraven, 3 or 5. Always targets the superhero with the highest XP. If the danger level is orange or red, he has 4 actions, and 5 toughness. So Kraven is certainly going to be an A tier character. He's so cool all around. Moon Knight, 4 hit points. Each time the first superhero takes each round, the first superhero to take a turn suffers 1 wound at the start of their turn unless they spend 2 power. It's going to be another A tier character. He's not insanely hard to kill, but when he pops up, you always have to pay attention to him, and it makes you do your turn or your round out of order sometimes. Juggernaut. His toughness is 4 at blue, 5 at yellow, 6 at orange, and 7 at red. So Juggernaut is absolutely an S tier character as well. So hard to deal with. Even the hero version of Kraven can't even kill Juggernaut, even though Kraven is the best character at killing the superheroes, assuming that Juggernaut is in the red stage or whatever, unless he uses some sort of other traits or something like that. But just a crazy character. Quicksilver moves 2 zones per move action. Each time a rush card is drawn, he moves 1 zone. Only has 3 hit points. I do think we're going to leave this guy in blue, or in B. Thanos! 5 hit points. Spawns with Infinity Stones. 1 in blue, 2 in yellow, 3 in orange, 4 in red. Gains 1 additional Infinity Stone at the start of each enemy phase. If he has all 6 stones, the players lose at the end of the player phase. So he's just ridiculously good. He would be probably in a whole different tier, in S tier. Also, the other thing that's not going to happen in this is we don't have a card for the Sentinels because they're in the other deck, but the Sentinels would be S tier as well, obviously. Loki, 4. Do not spawn him as usual. Instead, if he's not in play, for each walker that enters the zone with superhero, roll a die. On 5+, replace it with Loki. He's a cool character. I just think he's going to go in B, though. I'm hoping we could put one more row down here. Then we'll go from there. Actually, you know what? I think I'll just... Let's just say as long as we can see the top of each of these characters, we're good. Okay, Scarlet Witch, another version. All superheroes must reroll all hits while in her zone. So that's only while in her zone. So this really hurts melee characters, but not ranged characters. I think she's just going to go to B tier because of that. Beast, 4 hit points, one of the coolest minis. Whenever a superhero ends their turn within range 3, Beast immediately moves 2 zones towards them. He's going to go in B tier as well. 3 hit point Falcon. Ignores superheroes. If there are any bystanders on the board, inflicts 1 wound to superheroes in each zone he leaves. Automatically devours any 1 bystander standing in his zone where he ends his action. I think he's another one that's going to go in C tier. Often, there aren't that many bystanders on the board, and if there are, they get saved very quickly. So anyone who tries to interact with them doesn't do much. Venom, another one of the coolest minis. 4 hit points. When he is eliminated, 1 superhero in his zone suffers 1 wound. Because he's very likely to do damage, and he's somewhat hard to kill, he goes to A tier. Yeah, most of these guys don't need to win the game for you. All they need to do is chip away at you or be hard to kill, essentially. So anybody who does that is very solid. Black Cat, 3 hit points. She is less target priority. Attacks against her zone suffer 1 to dice results. I think we had somebody else like that. Yeah, that's pretty solid though. That's actually A tier just because she's last in target priority. So it's just going to be very hard to get through everybody before you can even deal with her. So very solid. Luke Cage, when he is eliminated, unless a superhero within range 1 spends 1 power, spawn him on the first spawn point during the next end phase. So we can keep coming back over and over and over again, theoretically. But honestly, I think that he's just gonna belong in B tier. Colossus, you just can't even kill him. This, if you're on this side of the map and the first player or the first spawn point is over here, you might just be fine with killing him, not paying for it, having him go back here, and just knowing that he's never gonna catch you before you win the game. So. Bullseye 3 can attack from 2 zones away. If he ends the activation with line of sight to any superheroes, roll a die for each of them. On a 5+, that superhero suffers 1 wound. Yeah, that's pretty solid. I don't think we can get that one to S tier, but I do think it belongs in A. Star-Lord, 3 hit points. If there is a bystander within range 2, when he activates his first as his first action, he is placed in their zone. I don't think that one's very good either. C tier. And then Daredevil, 4 hit points. Whenever a rush card is drawn, place Daredevil in the closest zone with a superhero, if not already in the zone with one. That could theoretically be helpful, but there's very few things that actually make these zombies activate again. So he's going to end up with you, but sometimes that's just better because you're in a good spot to kill him. So B tier. Deadpool, 4 hit points. When eliminated, lay his game piece on his side for the rest of the game. Superheroes entering his zone must roll a die. On a 5+, they suffer 1 wound. I just haven't had this one matter very much. But theoretically, it should be A tier. That's a solid effect. That can be very difficult. Actually, you know what? I think because I've played a lot of games of this and it's never mattered, so we're gonna put that in B tier. Scorpion, 3 hit points, can attack from 1 zone away. If he wounds a superhero, they lose all power. If that superhero has no power, they suffer 1 wound. Yeah, this one's a solid one as well. I think this one just goes in B tier though. Nova, 5 hit points. Each time a zone with another superhero or another zombie hero is attacked, Nova performs 1 action immediately after, which is pretty cool. So yeah, Nova is going to be S tier as well. The extra activations are very helpful, and 5 hit points is just ridiculous. Red Skull, 5 hit points. At the end of each enemy phase, spawn 2 Hydra soldiers in his zone. Yeah, so strong. That one's going to be S tier as well. Wasp, 3 hit points. Targeted last in target priority. When moving, she moves up to 2 zones. I think we're actually going to put this one down in C. She's just not that hard to deal with, I don't think. Hawkeye, 3 hit points. Can attack from 2 zones away. If his zone is attacked but he's not eliminated, push the attacking superhero 1 zone away. This one, I don't even think I can. No, I guess we will put it in B. Yeah, I guess. Winter Soldier, 3 hit points. If his zone is attacked at range 0, but he's not eliminated, the attacker suffers 1 wound and loses 1 power. That shouldn't matter. You should be able to kill him. So he's going to go to C. Psylocke, 3 hit points. Superheroes in range 2 do not gain power at the start of the player phase. This one's actually very helpful, but she's very easy to kill, so she's going to go B. Rogue, 4 hit points. At the end of her activation, all superheroes in her zone lose all of their power. Superheroes with no power lose 1 wound, or suffer 1 wound. Dang, that's really good. I'm struggling between S and A. I think we can put her in S. That's crazy. Because essentially, what this ends up meaning is if she's has 4 hit points, so she's not very easy to kill regardless. She's probably going to end up in someone's zone, and when she ends up in their zone, they're going to lose all of their power, which means they're going to have to spend their first 2 actions to power up to try to be able to kill her, most likely. And if they don't even have any power, they just take a wound immediately. So, very solid. Elektra, 3 hit points. If there are any wounded superheroes within range 2, when she activates, she performs an extra action. That can be good, and someone's probably going to be wounded, but I still think she's B tier. It's only 3 hit points. Black Bolt can attack from 1 zone away. His attacks inflict a number of wounds equal to the highest danger level. Just because this can easily one-shot people, it's very likely that someone's going to be in orange. And most people get 1 shot on 3 hits. So I think this one goes in A tier. Mysterio, whenever he would be eliminated, roll a die on a 5+. He is not eliminated, but placed into an adjacent zone instead. This one has absolutely come up, and it's been a pain. But he only has 3 hit points, so I think I can only put him in B. If he had 4 hit points, this would just be ridiculous. And last but not least, Dark Phoenix, who has 4 hit points. All superheroes within range 2 suffer 1 wound when she activates. So this would have to be that the players were dumb enough to end within range 2 of her. So it's a very good ability, but it would be so much better if it was at the end of her turn. But because it's not, I think this one stays in B tier, which maybe is a hot take, but I think that's fair. So S tier, we have 1 character who has 3 hit points, 1 that has 4 hit points, a bunch that have 5+. And then A tier, we have a lot of really good abilities and some high hit points as well. B tier is where most of the characters fall. Some, very few, are in C, and then there's only 1 in F. And maybe the bottom half of this bracket isn't exactly accurate. I think that the top half is pretty accurate. And it just goes to show that the middle, that most of these people aren't very easy to deal with regardless. So it's a pretty sweet game, and when the zombies are coming for you, you know you're in trouble. Thanks for watching, everybody.